Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
Has ordered a full probe into the big push soul sourcing allegations. Now, President John Dramani Mahama is on page 8. So President John Dramani Mahama has directed his office to obtain the full report from investigative outlet, the Fourth Estate, following an expose on procurement processes linked to contracts under the government's flagship Big Push infrastructure program. The president issued the directive during a meeting with civil society organizations at the Jubilee House on Monday, March 30, in response to the media outlets' serialized reports, which he described as a probe into what he termed a ministry of soul sourcing. According to President Mahama, his administration has so far only seen excerpts of the investigation circulating in the media and online platforms. He stresses the need for a comprehensive review of the full report before any official conclusion or actions are taken. Although we have seen snippets of the investigation from the media, I have instructed my office to obtain the full detailed report from the Fourth Estate and to conduct a study of the various allegations presented in the report. The President also directed the Ministry of Roads and Highways to prepare and submit a detailed response addressing the claims raised in the investigations. He is indicating that any subsequent government action will be based on both the findings of the full report and the Ministry's official explanation. President Mahama clarified that soul sourcing, while often controversial, is permitted under Ghana's existing public procurement laws in specific circumstances. However, he emphasizes that open and competitive tendering remains the preferred approach for ensuring transparency, fair pricing, and value for money in public projects. We would all agree that open, transparent tenders are always preferable for achieving competitive pricing and value for money. The Big Push program, which is designed to accelerate infrastructure development across the country, has drawn significant public and stakeholder interest since its rollout. The allegations raised by the Fourth Estate have therefore intensified scrutiny of procurement practices under the initiative. The President assured civil society groups that his administration would treat the matter with seriousness and objectivity, adding that a thorough review process was necessary to maintain public confidence in government contracting and financial management system. And this is what has been reported by the Daily Post of today. Let's listen and watch the President.
I encourage civil society organizations to actively engage with this legislative process, offer constructive input, and support public awareness when it is enacted. Moreover, I encourage you to collaborate with government to oversee public projects, monitor budget execution, and enhance social accountability mechanisms. Together, we can rebuild and strengthen public trust in our institutions. In this regard, I note the recent expose by the Fourth Estate on procurement processes related to the award of contracts under the Big Push program. While soul sourcing is legal under certain circumstances, under our current procurement law, would all agree that open, transparent tenders are always preferable for achieving competitive pricing and value for money. Although we've seen snippets of the investigation from the media, I've instructed my office to obtain the full detailed report from the Fourth Estate and to conduct a study of the various allegations presented in the report. We're also requesting the Ministry of Roads and Highways to present a detailed response to those allegations made therein in order to inform government's action on the matter. And it is precisely for such situations that I announced that government will introduce amendments to the Public Procurement Act to limit single sourcing in order to promote greater transparency and ensure proper value for money for the money we spend on projects. I've also requested the Minister of Finance to fast-track the setup of the Independent Value for Money Office, since the amendment to the procurement legislation will require that all single-source procurements be subject to rigorous value for money review. I remain of the conviction that single sourcing must be used as sparingly as possible and would consult with civil society on the new legislation we propose to use to restrict it as a method of procurement.
Bring me the full report. Let's look at it, and then we'll tell you what subsequently what our actions are. What do you make of this whole matter?
Well, Moro, let me begin by commending President Mahama for once again showing leadership when it mattered most. we have seen many presidents, not just in Ghana, but across Africa, dismiss the role of civil society organizations in governance. But here is a president who, after all the discussions, or even as the discussions linger on the fact that the Ministry of Roads and Highways awarded some contracts on sole source basis, the president has asked for the full report from the investigative body, the Fourth Estate. He has asked for a response from the Roads Minister, and the fact that he has shown commitment to getting into the issues to understand what went on before some decisions will be taken shows that this is a listening president, and that is commendable. Often in opposition, political parties tend to praise and, commend civil society organizations for their work, because very often their work is usually anti-government. So it is very difficult to see the presidents of the state invite civil society organizations again, and this is not the first time he's engaging them since he became president. And for him to make such firm pronouncements on these issues shows the kind of person we have as president. And I think that all of us must commend President Mahama for showing leadership. He did not dismiss the reports. He was not dismissive, but he has even further encouraged civil society organizations to be more interested in governance and how even contracts are awarded. That deserves the commendation, because President Mahama has lived up to expectation. He has shown that as a leader, you need all these critical voices, including even voices of people in opposition, to lead the country in a way that pleases the citizens, in a way that restores integrity to the presidency. And we must commend President Mahama. But going into the issues, I have listened to my senior brother, the Honorable Kwame Gavins Agboja, the Minister for Roads. I've also followed the story by the Fourth Estate. Let me say that from the beginning, I think that right from the word go, the Fourth Estate engaged in what I would describe as needless sensationalism.
Also,
before they released the report, all over their social media, say we are about to release a major scandal. We are about to release a scandal, that a particular ministry has become the factory for sole source contracts. Flyers were all over social media.
It wasn't
and how they advertised it. Scandal. And let's pay attention to the words. Major scandals. And when they released the report, even some members or some members of the opposition asked, so is this what it is? So sourced. Let's be fair to the fact. As we speak today, in our legislation, sole source is one of the methods for procurement. So if any ministry engages in sole sourcing, it is not illegal. The law provides for it and how it can be done. We can now get back to political issues where you accuse the NDC of bastardizing sole sourcing while in opposition. And when you raise such a concern, it's a legitimate concern. That the NDC in opposition said, we will not engage in the abuse of sole sourcing. But I am yet to see any NDC official, because when you see our manifesto, and I know you have copies of the manifestos here, check the part on procurement. We said we will not abuse sole sourcing. Abuse means to unnecessarily take advantage of it. Now, what are the contracts that are under review for, or we are discussing under discussion for sole sourcing? Don't forget that Big Push is a government flagship program. And when President Mahama promised that every year he would commit 10 billion into infrastructure development, 10 billion. Big Push is one of our flagship projects. 10 billion into infrastructure development. I have nothing against competitive bidding for projects like this. But these are major economic corridors. And you know that on the average, and yesterday I listened to Suleiman Abrahima when he said, are we saying competitive bidding cannot be done in a month? If you know the law and you know how procurement laws work in this country, there's no way you can finish for a major road or a major project like that. You can never finish in a month, not even 2. Look, even at the assembly level, last year, District Assembly Common Fund released for all districts, including mine, Ketunov Municipality, when we started following the procurement laws for even construction of 3 unit classroom blocks, 1 chief's compound, and all of us, it took us 6 months. So it was only this year 2026, that we were able to cut short for those projects that we should have done last year. So imagine, even at the assembly level, small projects like 3 unit classroom block and all of that could take us 6 months to complete the process, to get all the approvals. And so government decided that we want to finish some of these roads. And look, it takes about 6 to 8 months to design a road. So by the time you go through the, so they decided that for the fact that we need to have a quick turnaround on these roads, look at the Flau to Ho Road. All of us, including me as member of parliament, Joje, Fenyi, and those communities that are along that road, we were in a hurry. My chiefs were in a hurry to have the project done. So government decided that for these major economic corridor roads, because it's a flagship project of government, let us use sole sourcing. You can criticize that decision, and you are right to do so. But government in its wisdom believes that it is the way to facilitate the project so that these roads can be completed within schedule. Because as we speak, the contractors have been given time. And when you come to a place like Ketunov, the Penny area, the contractor working there is already asphalting. And they are actively working. And these things are happening across the country. Every region is seeing a big push project. So you can criticize it, there's no problem. My problem is that the fact that you want to say that because it is sole sourcing, it means that it is a scandal. What is a scandal? Anytime we raised issues with sole sourcing, with any project under NPP, it was based on Auditor General's report. What reference? So, Moro, if
Moro,
they
it seems
tell
that my
that,
friend is just repeating himself.
No, it was based on Auditor General. No, I've not repeated myself.
Hey.
Moro, if we said the road from Metro TV to Alisa was 100 million Ghana cedis, and we said that it was overpriced or the contract was inflated, by whose calculation? Anytime we criticize the NPP based on sole sourcing, it was based on the Auditor General's report and their findings. But in this case, you cannot just sit and say, let's calculate. And I've seen some very funny calculations ongoing. For example, people have raised the issue that to calculate the cost of a kilometer of road, you take the total contract sum and divide it by the distance or by the kilometers. But that's 2 roads, no 2 roads can be the same. For example, the whole to Toko Road, I'm using this one because that is my constituency. The rehabilitation of that road that you see, and people say rehabilitation, why is it more expensive? It involves even dualizing Georgetown roads. And as I speak, over 100 people have had their properties demolished. Compensation will be paid. All those things are factored into the cost. So for such a distance, the amount cannot be the same as a road of the same distance which does not involve demolitions or even dualization. So how do we just sit and analyze? Again, when you go to the ministries, it's about the technical people. And I'm happy that my brother is here. Kwame is here. He was deputy at PPA. His boss, the person you work with, appointed by the NPP, is still the one there. Whether sole sourcing or competitive bidding, approval is given by the PPA. Are we saying that the PPA did not do due diligence? Your boss that you work with, maybe you should tell us. You don't believe that he has the capacity to do due diligence enough to give approval for this contract to be issued. So, Moro, this, like I said, you can criticize that NDC said we will not abuse sole sourcing and raise issues with it. But you cannot claim it is corruption because by whose measure? And I've seen all these calculations. People say it's just rehabilitation, but like I've told you, some rehabilitations even involve dualization of the roads.
Okay.
It involves demolitions and all of that. The scope of work is not the same. So you cannot say because the distance between this town and this community are this, we are spending this for that. Okay. But for this community, the scope of work is not the same.
All right.
We need to look into those issues. Again, Moro, when we talk about issues of procurement and issues of sole sourcing, there's something very important that we have to speak about. It is about the fact that all these contractors that we are talking about, today we have seen a number of Ghanaian contractors actively working on the road. Even without mobilization, they are delivering within schedule. Which of the big push contracts have been awarded where you can say the people did not have the capacity, for which reason the work is not going on? None is behind schedule, none. Because one of the essence of going through competitive bidding is to find somebody who has the capacity to do the work. Now, if you criticize that I have given the work to Moro based on sole sourcing, and Moro is doing the work and is delivering, it means that morally, even that argument is lost. Because sole sourcing is still within our rights, it's still within our laws, and if the ministry gives it, we can only raise issues. Now, under the NPP, aside the thousands of contracts that were given based on sole sourcing, we have had situations where mobilizations were given, but no work was done. And we will be releasing some of
which road is that?
Which road is that?
We have had
the road.
We've had situations where mobilizations were given, but no work was done.
So which road were they?
But no work was done.
Which roads?
Moro, I will get into
you
the
just
road.
can't make accusations without
You see,
any
you are
facts.
not the one asking the question. I'm telling you that.
Let us
Under
know
the
the
NPP.
roads. You can't just say something.
Oh yes, I'll mention them. I have a list of them. Yes, I have a list of them.
They gave them mobilization.
That mobilization.
Money.
That we gave them.
Yes.
That and beyond
the serious
rules,
allegation
and even beyond rules across all sectors. And we are talking about procurement. No, it's not just why. So is it done only at the road sector? But I will mention
roads you don't have
now, Moro.
No, he says
the issue is that yes, I will share a list with you.
Yes.
Then Moro, to conclude on this issue,
all right.
I have also heard some funny arguments about the number of workers that some of these companies have. You heard it.
Yes.
They say one of the companies have 4 workers per their own document.
It speaks to capacity to deliver.
Moro.
That's what your critics are saying.
Moro, if it speaks to capacity.
Yes.
The contractor they are mentioning as having only 4 workers.
Is he on site?
The person is on site. Yesterday he took TV3 and other stations there. And he has done the work already above 40%.
Really?
Moro, when you talk about contract,
the person has two staff?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Why, Moro? The work that the person has done, the name of the company, I think is something around Sanam or something.
Yeah. It's also, I think,
on the road.
region, isn't it?
Yes, he's working. He's one of his projects.
Okay.
That same company,
Yes.
under NPP,
Yes.
they got 22 contracts and they delivered.
The same company.
Now, let me explain to you something. Moro, if you are a construction firm, you need to understand that construction firms employ on project base.
Yeah.
Now, are you telling me that the company or the firm that is working between Penny and Toko that have employed over 100 of my constituents working with them, right after that project is done, those people will be on their payroll and they will be paying SNIT.
Them a permanent staff.
You can't pay, you can't keep them.
You can't.
Who do we pay SNIT for? It is only for permanent staff.
Right.
So project based, as and when you get the job, as and when you get the contract, then you engage the people and you pay them.
Okay.
So how do you look at a company's number of people they are paying staff, they are paying SNIT for, and assume that it means that the company has only 4 staff? Go to the Insawam to Pokwasi Road. Insawam to Pokwasi Road. The number of people working, why? The drivers, the casual workers, are they paying SNIT for them? Is the company paying SNIT for them? Because what are the laws relating to SNIT?
Okay.
So you cannot ridiculously, you cannot ridiculously just look at the fact that a company is paying SNIT for 4 people, and because of that, it means the company has only 4 staff. Now tell me. Yes, I'll give you the list.
I want you to hear before you leave.
Yes.
The requirement of having staff
is
not conjuncted by the NPP or any other Ghanaian. To get the A1, B1 is a requirement by the ministry themselves.
Right.
That to get A1, B1, you should have at least 2 project managers who have 10 plus years of experience.
Mention them, yes.
That is what it's a requirement to get that certificate.
Okay.
Right.
And
you should have at least 4.
Are you suggesting that these companies are
the
referring
cocoa roads, they
have
these are the list of you ask.
I mean, it per slate.
So at the
you get the point.
No, you see what you don't use
to get the certificate.
Listen, my brother.
At
slate, at the ministry does not look at whether the number of people you are paying slate for. And I will give you an example.
Okay.
I have a friend called Prðbe. He's an accountant. He has his day job, but he is also the account officer for a construction firm. As and when they have to prepare their books, he will go and do. So even though the company can present him as his accounting firm, he doesn't do his 9 to 5 or his 8 to 5 over there. He may be taking his slate from a different company or his own firm because these companies work based on project based. What is so difficult to understand?
No. Listen.
Again, you said I should mention some of the roads. Why? When Wontumi was paid, the 50 million mobilization for cocoa roads, did he do it? And many, many more. Moro, for the Polugu Dam, there have been issues of mobilization paid. Did they do the work? Over $80 million. Did they do the work? Many others. So what I'm saying is that if you want to criticize us for giving or criticize Honorable Abuja for giving out contracts based on sole sourcing, do so. And you are within your right to do so. But to allege an irregularity, when you, the person making the allegation, Suleiman Abrahama, when did he become a technical person to determine how much a road costs? And in any case, let's stop some of these things because it is not the road minister that determines the cost of a project.
Nobody is saying
it's the technical people.
Nobody is saying that.
So if you are alleging that there is over inflation or we have inflated the price of the project, tell us the metric, what you are measuring it against.
Okay.
If Moro, you tell me that this Samsung device, you see, I'm getting more of the.
But my brother wants to take all the time.
Let him supply.
Tamale to Sabelegu Wale Road. They were paid $29.6 million, and yet they failed to execute the job. That is another one. Like I'm telling you, I have a tall list. Again, a very experienced contractor is telling me that tell Moro and the MPP guy that contractors only employ casual workers when the contract is awarded. We only employ the experts such as engineers and also the equipment. We normally lease them because what will be the essence of investing heavily in those equipment when you have no project? So these are project based.
They only employ engineers.
Yes.
When they are project based.
When they get a project.
But you see, the document you are referring to did not say that the company did not have engineers.
What you just read.
It says that they are paying slate for 4 people. And I'm saying that let us.
What you just said.
Moro, I can be taking slate from a different institution. I cannot pay double slate.
You said that
what you just said. You are saying something to support your claim.
Yes.
And what you just read just said, yes, they employ on project basis.
Yes.
Except engineers.
Yes.
And he mentioned that.
Yes.
Right? It wasn't that there.
Yes.
So if the law is requiring that you should have certain engineers in play, you don't have them. And there's a problem.
Which engineers did they require that they didn't have? You see, you are only basing that they said they pay slate for 4 people. And I'm saying
that is people you must have.
It is ridiculous to assume that because you pay slate for 4 people.
Is the employment of a permanent engineer a requirement to get a license? That's what I want to know.
What he was, he brought us something to support his case.
And I'm saying that they do that based on the project.
And then he said, but engineers, you have to have employment.
Yes.
Just read it again.
Moro, let me give you another. Moro, let me give you a typical issue. Let me give you a typical example.
Because we don't have.
Yeah, I'm leaving. So let me just end it. Just 1 minute. Moro,
he's been talking all the time.
Moro,
yes, he's leaving it.
Moro, you are the morning show host. You host the morning show on Metro TV. It is possible that you can be the business development manager for a different firm. So when you leave here, you go there. Now, it is possible that where you work after Metro TV is where your slate is paid.
Yes.
When Metro TV presents a list of stuff that they pay slate for,
nobody is complaining about
not there. Yes. It does not mean that you do not work at Metro TV.
Nobody is disputing that.
That must be said.
Okay, said that about 3 4. We are not disputing that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Eric. Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. All right. So Kwame, please lay your issues down and let's take it from there. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good day, boss.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm joining back.
All right. So let's go.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that my brother has to go. You know, because there's certain things that.
No, that's okay.
I'll follow.
There will be a part 2 of this next week.
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.